Hi, this is National 4 Equations of Lines. So the things we're going to look at in this lesson are be able to state the coordinate of a point, know which is the x coordinate and which is the y coordinate, be able to state the equation of a horizontal line, and be able to state the equation of a vertical line. And also be able to draw a horizontal or vertical line given its equation. So first thing we want to look at is the axes which we have drawn here. Okay, just get my pen ready. Okay, so over on the right hand side here we have an x. Okay, now that goes along the way. X is a cross. Okay, if you put those two words together, it's a cross across the way. Okay, y is up. Okay, if you put that together, y's up. Okay, so the y goes up the way. Okay, alright, I'll just delete that bit. Okay, so if we have a point, so I will draw one on here. If we have a point and we call it point A, okay, to get to point A, we have to go along 5 and then up 3. So we say that A has got coordinate 5, 3. Okay, but what I want to emphasise today is that we go along 5 on the x-axis and then we're going up 3 for the y. Okay, now all coordinates are called xy coordinates. Okay, do one in what we call each quadrant. So I'm going to do one over here and I'll call this one B. Okay, so this time again, think, how much do we have to go along? Right, for this one it's -4. And how much do we have to go up or down? So for this one there it's 4. Okay, so for B we're going along to -4 and up 4. Okay, now again we call this an x, y coordinate. So you can see that my x is -4 and my y is equal to 4. Okay, alright, we'll try another one over here. Oh, maybe not there. There's a reason why I don't want to use that one. I'll move it over to here. Alright, and we'll call this one C. Oops, wrong pen. We'll call this one C. Okay, so for this one we have to come along and down. Okay, along and down for that one. So we went along to the number 3 and then we went down to the number 5. So again, what's important here is that you remember that these are called x, y coordinates. So my coordinate here has got an x equal to 3 and a y equal to -5. Okay, one more. Okay, so to get to this one, see how I'm always starting at this point here. Okay, I'm always starting here. That point there has got its own special name. This point in here is called the origin. Okay, and that's where I'm starting off every time I am trying to find my coordinate. Okay, so starting from the yellow dot, I go all the way along to -8 and down to -8 and down to -2. So our xy coordinate is -8, -2, where the x is equal to -8 and the y is equal to -2. Okay, now in this one here we've got 4 lines. Now these lines are special, they're vertical. Okay, now these lines, all 4 of them are going up one of the horizontal grid lines. Okay, there's grid lines in the background and they're going up, straight up. Okay, now if I look at this green line here, I'm going to pick a point and I'm going to think to myself, what's the coordinate for that point there? Okay, right, I would have to go along 8 and up 5. Along 8 and up 5, might just change the colour, don't think that green is coming out too well against that background. Along 8, up 5. Okay, if I pick another point, maybe this one here, I would have to go along 8 and then all the way up to 8. Okay, and it doesn't matter which points I pick. There's something interesting going to happen about them all. So for this one here, along 8 and up 2. Okay, I'll go down to the negatives this time, so maybe let's try this one over here. So along 8 and down to -3. Okay, maybe one more. Along 8 and down to -6. Okay, you might want to pause the recording at this point. There's something that all of those coordinates have that is the same. Remember, all of these coordinates are x, y coordinates. And every one of these coordinates, if we have a look down here, all the way down, they all start with an 8. So what does that tell us about these coordinates? It tells us that all the way down, up and down this line, the first number is always going to be 8. It's telling us that the x is always going to be 8. Okay, now that is my first answer, x equals 8. Okay, right, the next one, same idea with the next one. Just tidy this up a bit, if I can. Is it not going to let me rub out? Typical, there we go. Okay, just tidy it up for doing the next one. Okay, so the red line or orange line. Right, what's going to happen this time? You might already be thinking to yourself, oh, all right, I know what this one's going to be. So if I pick a point, any point, okay, pick a point, any point, so I'll pick that one there, along 3, up 3. Okay, pick another one, along 3, up 7. Pick another one, along 3 and down to -3. Okay, and the next one, along 3, pick that one down there, along 3, down to -6. Now again, remember, we are working with x, y coordinates. So again, you might want to stop the recording and see what they all have in common. Alright, now if we come down here, we can see the first number in every coordinate is 3. Right, so if we go back up to the x, y coordinate, the red bit at the top, the first number is always 3. The first number, the x, is always 3. So x equals 3, and that's our equation. An equation is something that has an equal sign in it. Okay, so I've got 2 equations there. Now, both of those lines are special in that they are going straight up and down the way. Okay, straight up and down the grid line. Okay, now the next one that I've got there, I can see that the same thing is going to happen with these. I'm not going to go through that process all the time of picking out coordinates. Okay, so I'm just going to look at this one and go, right, if I was doing coordinates for this one, every single time I would have a first number of x equals, and it would be -5 this time. Okay, and then the purple line here, if we start from the origin, every time we do a coordinate on this line, we would have to start with the number -9. Okay, the first number being the x, so it would be x equals -9. Okay, so whenever we have a line that goes straight up and down, the way that I like to think about this is, okay, this line here is going straight up and down, you can barely see it now, and it's crossing over the x-axis, x equals 8. The next one, again, is going straight up and down, it's crossing over the x-axis at 3, x equals 3. Next one, straight up and down, crossing over the x-axis at -5, x equals -5. And the last one here, straight up and down, crosses over the x-axis at -9, x equals -9. Okay. Now, these ones go across the way. Okay, so I'm going to do the same idea again. I'm going to pick a point on this line. keep choosing the wrong pen. Right, so we have to go along 4, up 3. Along 4 and then up 3. Okay, next one. Along 8 and then up 3. I can see a theme coming out here already. Up 3. Back to -5 and up 3. Back to -5 and up 3. One more. Back to -10 and up 3. Like that. Okay, so what I noticed this time, if I think about each of these being an x, y coordinate, okay, I can see a pattern coming out. Okay, I can see that the y is equal to 3 in each of those coordinates. Okay, so my equation for this one, y, whoops, wrong pen again, y equals 3. Okay, now I'm just going to tidy that picture up again, take my doodles out, if I can, there we go, that's better, it's going now. Okay, because like I said before, we don't need to go through this process all the time. This line here is coming along horizontally, this one, and it's crossing over the y-axis. Okay, it's crossing over the y-axis, so we have y equals -3. Okay, next line, I'm not going to go through the process of getting all the coordinates. It's coming across horizontally, it's crossing the y-axis at -5. It is crossing the y-axis at -5. Okay. Okay, in this next slide here, we're going to draw lines given the equation. So the first one we've got here, it says draw each line, labelling each with its equation. And the first one we've got is x equals 3 there. Okay, so that means that we are going to have a line that crosses the x-axis at 3. Okay, so I've drawn a line in there, x equals 3. It's crossing over the x-axis at 3. Okay, so it says I have to label it as well, x equals 3. Okay, next one, y equals -3. Oh, wrong pen again, I'm trying and failing. Y equals -3. Okay, so this one is going to cross over the y-axis at -3. Okay, so I've drawn a line there. Make sure you've got a ruler handy. So that line's coming along, it's crossing the y-axis at -3. Okay, next one. X equals -5. So it's going to cross the x-axis at -5. Okay, so I've drawn another horizontal line in. This one this time is crossing over the x-axis at -5. So this one here, x equals -5. So notice I'm making sure that I label each of my lines. And the last line that I've got there is y equals 2. Okay, again, choosing the wrong pen. Y equals 2. Okay. Okay, so that one there, it's crossing over the y-axis. It's crossing over the y-axis at 2. Y equals 2. So remember, the ones that start with an x are going to cross over the x-axis. The ones that start with a y are going to cross over the y-axis. Okay, now I said I was only going to do horizontal and vertical lines, but I thought you might want to see the next two as well. Okay, so this one already has the equation here. Okay, so it's a little bit different from the ones we've done today. Y equals x. Now where did that come from, I wonder? Well, it's quite easy to work out if you look at each coordinate on the line. This one here is 5, 5. I'm just picking coordinates at random, it doesn't matter which one I do. 3, 3, 1, 1, and you should notice that whenever we pick a coordinate, the x and the y are both the same, and that's why we get y equals x. or you could call it x equals y. Okay, both the numbers are exactly the same. So that's quite a nice one to remember, that one. For this line here, I'll just take away the coordinates. For this line here, it starts at the origin, okay, and it goes along one, up one, and you've got a point there, along one, up one, and you've got another point there, okay. So it's going through each box diagonally. Okay, one more bonus one, right, is this line here. Now this one's almost the same. It's going along one, up one, along one, up one, but it's going in the opposite direction. Okay, so again, it's starting from the origin, but it's going in the opposite direction. So I wonder what we call this one. So again, if we look at the coordinates, say this coordinate here, I've got to go along 2 and down 2. This one here, along 4 and down 4. So they're kind of the same, but not really, because when we look at the x and the y, they've both got 2, but one of them's negative, okay? And it's the same with this next one here. If we think about the x and the y again, we have almost got the same thing, kinda. 4 and then minus 4. They've both got the 4 in, okay? But one of them is negative. If we go up to the other side over here, we've got back 2 and then 2. And then maybe this point over here, back to minus 5 and up 5. Now again, we've got the same thing going on. One of them is positive, one of them is negative. They've both got the same digit, but one's positive and one's negative. Okay, and the same with the minus 5 and the 5 there. So what we call this one is y equals minus x, right? It's not quite y equals x, right? Because we didn't get 2 and 2, right? When we had 2, the other one was minus 2. Okay, so that's why we call this one y equals minus x. Okay, I will give you some exercises to do as well. Okay.